Welcome to the first edition of Hashtag for the Kids. It's our hopefully weekly look at the youth soccer world here in the Soccer Down Here network. My name's Jason Longshore, and this is going to be a work in progress. This is something that I've definitely wanted to do for a while, but it's going to take you guys out there listening, it's going to take your help to make this happen as often as I would like it to happen. I don't have kids. I'm not working with any youth clubs directly. I'm not coaching currently. I'm not fundraising for any organizations on a regular basis at the moment. So I'm not as tapped into the pulse of youth soccer as I used to be and as I'd like to be. So when you guys have things that happen, whether you are a parent, whether you are a coach, whether you're a referee, whether you're a club administrator, things that need to be discussed in the youth world, and there's plenty of that, let us know here at Soccer Down Here. You can email us, soccerdownhere@gmail.com. You can also reach out on Twitter, on all social media, at Soccer Down Here. You can reach out to me directly at Longshoe. I think one of the biggest things that I always come back to when we talk about the youth game is just wanting it to be better. There's not a magic fix. There's not this horrible situation either, but it's a very complicated world, the world of American youth soccer. The way we've gotten here is very difficult for people to understand. It's very difficult to trace, to be perfectly honest. And where we're going, I don't know if there's a clear and obvious path as to what youth soccer in Georgia and the South and the country is going to look like in 10 years. It feels very different going into 2020 than it did going into 2010. I can tell you that much. And I think a lot of changes have happened. And I think there's more changes to come, good and bad. And these are things that maybe don't get discussed enough from a general soccer perspective, but they're vital. You know, I mean, for those of you who are listening who aren't involved in the youth game and you're wondering why you stumbled onto this and why it matters, these are the building blocks. The youth game is what leads great players to develop who go on to wear an Atlanta United kit or a Birmingham Legion kit or a Charlotte MLS kit. These are the ways those kids find the game and, more importantly, develop that love for the game that spurs them on. This is where the next generation of referees come from. And as we talk about regularly, referee development is a huge issue that the United States Soccer Federation has to address better going forward because there just aren't enough referees, period, across the board, top level and at the bottom level. There's not enough. And there's a lot of issues as to why that is the case. That's something that needs to be addressed for the game as a whole to be better. Most importantly, and I think something that gets lost in the shuffle quite often, is the youth game is the foundation of people who are passionate about the sport of soccer. And whether you go on to play at a higher level or recreational is the highest level you play. Whether you play for fun, whether you play seriously, whether you get a college scholarship, whether you get a pro contract, the people who are going to be in the stands at these stadiums, at these venues, the people who are going to go on and become coaching instructors, become coaches themselves, to become administrators, the lifeblood of the game in this country, it starts with the youth. It starts with the most basic of situations of going to sign up and play a sport and hopefully falling in love with it. And these are the types of things that I hope we can get into on Hashtag for the Kids. All aspects, whether it is the elite club coach that is developing talent that can very soon sign a professional contract, whether it is a college coach like our friend John Aiken at Oglethorpe University, who is involved in the youth game at FC Brookhaven, but also is looking for certain types of players to come play for him at Oglethorpe. Other programs in the vicinity, that's an element to this. But I also want to talk to recreational soccer directors. I want to talk to referee administrators and instructors. I want to cover as much of the full gamut of youth soccer in this area as possible. And again, that comes back to needing your help. If there are stories that need to be told, if there are people that need to be on the show, please let us know. We'd love to make this as regular of a thing as possible. This is an aspect that we don't get to talk as much about on the daily show from 9 to 11, Monday to Friday, and it's a very important part, and hopefully we can do our part to help grow the game in these areas. One person we did get a chance to talk to this month that I'm really excited for you to hear the interview, Alex Pama. He is the technical director at Cherokee Soccer Association. He's also the head coach at Life University, and he has a very unique background in the youth game here in the state of Georgia. Had a chance to talk to Alex at a fundraiser that we were part of at Reformation Brewery in Canton. It was a great night, raised a good bit of money for the Cherokee Soccer Association's foundation. It was a fun time talking to Michael Parkhurst, talking to our friends with Toka, Joe Todd of the Metro Atlanta Referee Association, really hitting a lot of different aspects of soccer in that neck of the woods. Here's my interview that I was able to do with Alex Pama. I hope you enjoy. Welcome into another interview here at Reformation Brewery. Sitting with me, DOC of Cherokee Soccer Association, Alex Pama. Alex, thanks for the time.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So there's so many things we can get into. I think we just did about a show in 10 minutes about the development system in the United States. I want to talk first about Cherokee Soccer and the growth of your club, because it's something that I grew up on the south side. So I grew up Henry County. I started playing in Clayton County. I didn't know this side of town as well as a kid, but the growth in this area of soccer has been really dramatic recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, obviously a lot of housing goes up in this area. It's really booming on the north side of town, especially Cherokee County. School system has improved, so that attracts a lot of people. And we got a lot more soccer here than when I started here in 1999. I've been away for about 5-6 years, but when I came back, I mean, the club has grown steadily. In 2011, I was asked to step in and take over from the previous guys, and we've made steadily growth. And part of that is natural because of the growth of the area, and part of it is, I think, we, especially at the select and academy side, we produce a good product that's attractive to parents and players.
Let's get into that product a little bit, because what struck me about Cherokee Soccer is you have a lot of clubs right now. You said it before we started chasing levels. You have a lot of clubs right now that are looking to merge, they're looking to combine, to strengthen the potential to go up levels. You guys are doing it a little bit differently. You guys are focused on who you are.
Yeah, I mean, our identity has always been, and our motto has always been player development first. So we look at the player, we look at the individual. That for us is very important. And we want to do that in a mid-size, small-size club setting. We don't want to be a mega club. We've been approached in the past by other organizations to merge or to be part of their organization. We've always said no. I think John Brander, the president of Cherokee Soccer, he's done this for 30-plus years. He's been around. That's always been his vision, his view, and I fully am with that, and so is Shane Moore, our executive director. So we, by choice, stay what we are right now, a mid-sized club, probably the 8th, 9th largest club in Georgia. And we're happy with that because we see the results. We know all the children in the club. The children have a connection with the coaches. We know most of the parents in the club, which is also very important to us. And together, by knowing the child, we can put a plan together for each child and see how that child can develop to the next level, and whatever that next level is. So we're not chasing all the levels. Of course, we need to play in certain leagues. We like the U.S. Youth Soccer model because it's a merit-based league, which means that you finish in the top, you move on, you go in the bottom, you go down. And that's how the rest of the world is set up, and I like that personally a lot too. And I think there's a lot of clubs out there, that of course are also about player development. I'm not knocking them on that side of their business, but it is more, to me, more numbers game, and it's more about chasing those levels and exclusive leagues where only certain clubs can be part of, and I wonder if that's the right model, to be honest.
So for you guys deciding to stay kind of the size you are, not looking to merge to get bigger, how does that benefit you from a player development standpoint?
Well, I mean, we get to know the player a lot better. So when we develop a player development plan, which we have for each player in the Select and Academy side, we can kind of figure out, okay, what is important. We have 2 teams in an age group for the majority. So certain players need a little bit more time to develop. So we tell our second team coaches, your job is to develop 1 or 2, maybe 3 players if you've done a great job for the next level, for the next team up, and for the top teams, we'd like to play at the highest level. More important, what we want to see is player development. We want to see the players get better. So if we see in a team of 16 players, we see 12, 13 players really improving, we're pleased. Regardless if the coach came in first place,
right,
4th, 5th place, we don't want them to relegate, of course. But as long as and most of our top teams play in the top leagues in that model, as long as they stay there, we're happy with that. So, but by knowing the player, by looking at all the 5 technical components, passing, receiving, dribbling, heading, and finishing, and say, okay, can we make those players better? And then when they get to the older age groups, tactically, physically, can we make them better? Obviously, what God left out, we can't put in. So that is a true statement. But we can work on those aspects, the technical aspect, the tactical aspect, and teach the kids, teach them about lifestyle. I always say it's not important just to create a good footballer or soccer player, but also a good human being. So that's part of the #Impact family. I mean, and in that environment, we believe, and we've proven that by producing players for Atlanta United's academy, by producing players for Division I, Division II, NIA, collegiate levels.
Right.
We proved that model works and is successful.
Something that's always stuck with me through my time in the game was an Argentine coach that I wish I knew the name, but he's not a name. And the reason why is he never won a bunch of trophies, but he said he measured his job on how many jerseys he put on the wall of guys who went on and played at top teams and went on. That sounds like something that's really important to you guys. It's more about the individual development and where the players can go after what they learned with you, as opposed to winning tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, obviously success is important for every child.
You have to balance.
You have to balance it out a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying we're all about player development.
Sure.
Of course, we want our teams to be successful, to win. We enter a tournament, we enter a game to win the game. That's got to be always the mindset. It's one of the things I love about America. It's one of our strengths as a country. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if you go into my office, you'll see jerseys on the wall. You'll see, if you go in my home office, you'll see jerseys or pictures on the wall of the teams that I've coached in the last 25 years. And to me, that is indeed more important, because that is the ultimate reason why you're coaching. And I have won national championships. I've won major tournaments, major leagues in my career as a coach, and certainly that was great, and they're great memories. And I think that is more important, the memories, than winning a trophy or winning a ring.
Right.
Even with my university team recently, we won a ring, but if I look back at the season, it's not about winning that ring and the conference championship. It's about the memories that we've created as a group with these young men. So.
You've mentioned the college game, and I think with now the rise of the professional game in the United States and Major League Soccer growing quickly, and USL Championship and now USL League One, there's a lot of options there. How do you balance it when you talk to parents about what they want for their child? It used to just be that college scholarship. Now you've got a little bit of both. How do you have those conversations with parents about their child's development?
Well, I mean, I still think for the majority of the parents it's a college scholarship, especially in a select level, the more competitive level. I think for the recreational parent, it's just, that their kid develops, has fun, and all that kind of stuff. Not that is not true for the competitive level as well.
Of course.
Parents want that for their children too. But I think more of those parents are still chasing that next level, which after the youth soccer clubs are done, it is the collegiate level for 99% of these kids. Having a son in Atlanta United gives me an inside look, gives me experience as a parent what it's like when your kid is going in that professional academy route and taking that route. But like I told my son, no matter what contract you might be getting, he's 16,
right.
You're still going to college first, son. So that to me is very important, and he knows that. So I think for the majority of parents, the college degree is still what we're looking for. But for some of them, and we have one right now, like I said, at Atlanta United, 2 players at Atlanta United from Impact that maybe can take that professional route. We've had players in the past go to Europe and become a pro. We have players that out of Cherokee soccer gone to the national team. So, for those, yes, it might be a different path, but that's the very, very few.
Right.
I think the majority of the kids, and I tell this to the parents all the time, make sure your kid has fun playing the game. That's the first and foremost. And second, make sure that they are developing. And that's where you can hold us accountable as coaches. Our job is to develop your child and make sure that your child is having a great time while he or she is doing it. So I think that is, in short, the answer, hopefully, to your question.
I think this is something, development, it comes in a lot of different, ways. We see what, in the United States, as big of a country as this is, different clubs in the same town will do things differently. We see around the world, in the Netherlands, it's going to be different than it is in Spain. It's going to be different in Argentina. For you, passing that information along to your coaches and trying to keep them up to date on the latest trends and all those kinds of things, how difficult is it for you to manage your coaches?
It's difficult. Because your staff has so much turnover because they're not full-time coaches. We have 3-4 full-time coaches in our program, but the majority is part-time. They have a job during the day, and it's hard. We've done a good job, I think, at Cherokee Soccer, keeping the nucleus together. That creates kind of a bond. The coaches know what is expected of them, and we have, once every quarter, we have a coaches meeting where we talk and refresh their memories about what it is that they have to be doing and why they have to do it. And I think besides that, we have some training days, coaching days, where we bring all the coaches in, where we go through some exercises, some practices, some do's and don'ts, that they can learn from. I'm at the point now that I'm no longer a rookie coach. I've been around a little bit. I think, for them, I'm a great resource, to ask questions to and guide them a little bit. Sometimes we bring in a guest coach as well to help them, either from Europe or from the United States, somebody that we know in our network. And, but it is difficult. It is difficult to create one line within the club that where from age 8, when the kids come into the academy program, or 7 sometimes, all the way through age 18, that line is consistent and that stays consistent throughout the program.
Something about a club like Cherokee, I think that I love is when you see the game growing, the level of play is part of it, but it's also just the sheer numbers, a recreational component, and taking the recreational side very seriously. I think you guys do a really good job with that. Yeah,
we do, and John Mernan is our recreational director. Shane Moore is very involved, our executive director, also with the recreational side of the house. And Louise Schweiger is doing a fantastic job. She's been there for as long as I've been at Cherokee Soccer, so over 20 years, I would say. And she's doing a great job. So there's a consistency there. They're great people with the heart on the right spot. They have the right mindset, to run it. Just like I think any club in America, we need to be better at Cherokee Soccer to bridge that recreational select gap,
right,
which still is there because a lot of recreational parents they like to keep their team together, win, and have that mentality. Some of the coaches do as well, so they don't want to give up their best players to that next level. And just like what we say, look, we lose some of our best players to Atlanta United, and that's part of the game. We don't stop that, we encourage that.
Right.
And I think we need to do, at Impact at least, at Cherokee Impact, we need to do a better job also relaying that message to rec coaches, because it's the same principle. Go to that next level of play, go to that next level of training and coaching.
What are, as you look at 2020 and beyond, what are some of the challenges for a club like Cherokee Impact?
Well, right now, I'm a little concerned within Georgia Soccer. There's 5-6 clubs that already abandoned Georgia Soccer for the most part. I don't know what their ultimate goal is. If their goal is to create a monopoly in the marketplace with only super large clubs, and we are somewhat unique at Cherokee Impact. We do have access to fields. We have a really close relationship with the county, and John Bandreth has been a fantastic president for the organization. So we don't really have a board of directors. The buck basically stops with Shane and myself, and we report to John. But I I am a little concerned about where Georgia soccer is heading, and if that organization will still be around in the next 4 or 5 years, where the game is going, because I think we're on an unhealthy path. We're no longer around the table. I think 20 years ago, the clubs all got along. We all talked to each other. We all found constructive solutions to problems that we were facing. I think right now some clubs are going off in one direction. Other clubs are taking off in another direction. Mega clubs are being formed of 10, 15,000 kids. I think a lot of kids will be lost in the shuffle if we go that direction. I don't believe in that. I don't know a club in Europe that has 10,000 kids.
Right.
So I don't see how you can manage that the right way. So that seems to me very very difficult. But we'll see. I mean, as Cherokee, we're in a healthy spot right now. We are growing, like you said. We're stable financially. We're in good shape. We do have some great plans for the future. I am meeting in 2 weeks with Shane and with some of our key staff to kind of lay out a plan for the next 5 years to say, okay, where do we want to be 5 years from now? Just like we did 5-6 years ago when we started this process. And that's a little bit outdated now. So now let's look, okay, where are we going to be 5-6 years from now? How do we want to be viewed by the masses, by the people, by our customers, the parents, and the players?
And then I want to finish with this, Alex. What advice would you give to a parent out there whose kid loves the game, good player, maybe in between those levels, and that's where kids sometimes get stuck. Are they rec? Are they select? What advice would you give to the parent of a 10-year-old who loves the game and has the passion for it and is trying to figure out where they fit?
I think find the right training environment. And these days there's a lot of private trainers, there's a lot of extra training that kids can do. I mean, my kids go to Rapid Performance in Woodstock, which is a speed agility training company, strength company that does an excellent job. That's what my kids needed, and they've been doing that consistently in the off season. But once in a while, my kids also train privately with a private trainer and do some one-on-one, some individual training. So find the trainers, find the coaches, who are believing in your kids, who invest time in your kids. You will have to invest a little bit of money into your children as well, because a lot of people don't do it for free. But find that environment. I think that's the most important thing, and then support your child in it. But be realistic with your child as well. I see a lot of parents, be unrealistic, or it's the coach's fault, or it's the club's fault or the team's fault. But we got to be critical, of our own children as well. I do that as a father. So there's certain things that definitely we need to be supportive of and encouragement for our children, but we need to be critical as well. And we forget that lately, I think, a little bit, where, if a kid really wants it, we got to give that child an opportunity. But it shouldn't be the parents' dream. It's got to be the kid's dream. So.
Alex, thanks so much for the time. Thanks for having Soccer Down here out at the event tonight, and thanks for promoting it and getting such a big crowd out.
All right. Good luck with your show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to everybody at Cherokee Soccer Association for making that event happen earlier this month. It's a lot of fun hanging out with the crew from CSA and learning more about the club. The thing that stands out to me about it, I mentioned it a couple of times with Alex, and his answers, I think, just kind of reinforced it for me. They really feel like a little bit of a throwback to the old school kind of neighborhood club, and knowing kind of where they stand. You're seeing a lot of clubs merge, and for some clubs it makes total sense, and you're seeing a lot of good things come out of those mergers. You're seeing some clubs get very, very big. That's not for every player, and I think this is something that families and players and teenagers, especially as they start making these decisions, you got to think about what's best for you. It's almost like the college choice situation that comes up. Are you better suited as an individual to go into a small school where you get more maybe individualized attention, everybody on a first name basis, or does going to a large school, does it make sense for you? Does that work for you? For some, the opportunities that they're going to get at a large school, it's worth the trade-off. Others need that personal attention. There's no blueprint to any of this. There's no one size fits all. That just doesn't exist in soccer in the United States. It's never going to happen. So it's cool to see the variety of clubs in the Atlanta area. Very small clubs, very niche clubs, very neighborhood-oriented clubs, bigger clubs, clubs with a lot of history, clubs that are brand new, clubs that have different philosophies and look at things. And I'm sure that's the same across the region and honestly across the country. So it's cool to shine a light when we can on different clubs and different approaches, because every player, every kid, every coach is different, and you have to have those situations that fit you. One of the other elements of our event at Reformation Brewery earlier in December was the support of Toka football. And if you have not heard of Toka football, highly recommended to go check it out. TokaFootball.com. Learn a little bit about the story. Tom Elias is heading up the program here in the metro Atlanta area. The story of former U.S. men's national team player Eddie Lewis and his quest to become a better player when he went to UCLA and what he did to become a better player, and how he's been able to take that and create a system for kids, adults, national team players to improve their game. It's really fascinating. Recently here in town, you had U.S. women's national team players taking advantage of the Toka training centers. And those of you out there listening to this show, you can as well. Go to tokafootball.com/Georgia, and there's the opportunity to sign up for a free trial of Toka football. You get a kickoff session where you meet a trainer, you talk about the player's needs, their background, and you do a session where the trainer gets to know the player a little bit, sees strengths and weaknesses, and can create a bit of a roadmap for that player if they want to stick with the Toka system. This is a system that, national team level players, men's and women's, are taking advantage of. Two of their spokespeople who have videos out there speaking about how they've benefited from the Toka system are Jossie Zardes and Kristen Press. Talking about the elite of the elite. And it's very cool that this is a system that is growing here in the Atlanta area, and an opportunity that you guys listening can take advantage of for free to give it a try and see if it's a fit for you. TokaFootball.com/Georgia to get your free trial. One person that's worked with Toka and did a camp over the Thanksgiving break was Michael Parkhurst. Michael Parkhurst is also part of a fundraiser that the Georgia State Soccer Association is organizing for their Top Soccer programs. Top Soccer, if you're not familiar with it, it is a community-based training and team placement program for young athletes ages 4 to 19 with disabilities. It's organized by Youth Soccer Association volunteers. The program, it's designed to bring the opportunity of learning and playing soccer to any boy or girl who has a mental or physical disability. Through the program, the kids develop a sense of belonging. They learn the value of being part of a team. It benefits their self-esteem, fitness, social skills, and it's fun. And it's a program that Georgia Soccer has supported for a long period of time. They do it very well. You have other state associations coming to Georgia to learn how Georgia's implemented Top Soccer in its clubs and really fosters the development of it. So on Sunday, January 12th, Georgia Soccer is hosting an event at One Touch Soccer over on the west side of Atlanta with Michael Parkhurst from 4 to 6 p.m. The way you get a chance to be part of it, the way you get a chance to attend, is you go to gagives.org/event/Parkhurst. You can also go to georgiasoccer.org and follow the link there. You create a fundraising page, and the top fundraisers are going to get a chance to attend this event and spend some time with former Atlanta United captain Michael Parkhurst. A really great initiative, great program, and it's an incredible cause. Highly recommended. Go check that out. gagives.org/event/Parkhurst. More stuff on the Georgia Soccer side for those of you to keep in mind. It's a very interesting time for Georgia Soccer right now, as you've had a lot of turnover at the state association. Executive director spot is open. Chairman of the board of directors is open. And the board of directors nomination form is available for you right now. Nominations are due by Saturday, January 18th, and the nominations will be presented for election at the annual general meeting on February 1st. It's closed 2 weeks before the AGM, and nominations from the floor are not permitted. The only way that happens is if there's a vacancy that's created during the AGM. So January 18th is the deadline to submit your nominations for the Georgia Soccer Board of Directors. You can find that link at georgiasoccer.org as you prepare for the AGM. That AGM, again, it's February 1st. It's at the Renaissance Atlanta Waverly Hotel. It's an important one. If you're involved in a youth club, make sure you've talked to your club leadership and ask about how they're going to be represented here. You will have potential bylaw changes that will be voted on there. You'll have a lot of business that takes, effect. You'll have a lot of business that is discussed at the AGM. There's 2 every year, and this is the one that is the busier one as you start to prepare for the upcoming year. So February 1st, Renaissance Atlanta Waverly Hotel, and make sure you know kind of where your club stands and what their involvement is going to be. There's a couple of college ID combines I wanted to let you know about, too, as we wrap up. Georgia Soccer is organizing their 2nd annual college ID combine. It's Saturday, January 25th at East Roswell Park. It is free for Georgia Soccer members. It's a great opportunity for players to showcase their talent in front of college coaches. Limited space. You can register today. georgiasoccer.org has the link. Not sure which colleges are going to attend yet. That usually depends on availability as you get closer to it. So follow Georgia Soccer on all your social media platforms to know who's coming. We do know who's going to attend, at least some of the schools that are going to be attending the Winter ID Camp at Oglethorpe University on January 4th. Oglethorpe obviously will be there. Emory, Georgia State, Clayton State, and others will be in attendance. Registration, you can go to johnakincamps.com/metro-id-camps. You can also go to Oglethorpe University's soccer program page and their Twitter account and follow links there. But you can get to everything, johnakincamps.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the first hashtag for the kids. Again, you have ideas for topics, you have ideas for interview subjects, please send them our way, soccerdownhere@gmail.com, also at soccerdownhere on all your social media platforms. Excited to do this in 2020, and hopefully we can not make our mark, not make our impact, but hopefully we can spread the word about some very good things going on in the youth game, and hopefully we can have some discussions about things that we hope get better. That's what we're here to try to do, is just grow the game, and we can be a little small part of it here at hashtag for the kids. Thanks for listening. Have a happy holiday season. Talk to you soon.